pembelajaran ya tambahan di luar prodi, ya, kira-kira seperti apa? Jadi ini memang tim kurikulum harus bekerja sangat keras sekali ya untuk melengkapi ini ya. Kita berharap nanti terutama yang semester 5-7 yang sudah mulai banyak keluar ini bisa kita jelaskan. Ya. Termasuk juga bisa diarahkan oleh dosen PA-nya masing-masing. Nah, kemudian ada mata kuliah wajib ya, mata kuliah wajib ini yang MKU-nya ya ada 20 walaupun ya tadi kan ada perubahan ya tinggal 14 ya karena KKN ini dikeluarkan masih mata kuliah universiter tapi sebagian masuk ke MKU-nya dan satu ini KKN dimasukkan di luar institusi. Ya. Nah ini MKU pilihan, ya ini mata kuliah pendidikan, dasar kependidikan, kemudian keterampilan proses pembelajaran, ini banyak di kependidikan. Ya, pembelajaran mikro, praktek pendidikan dan seterusnya, kemudian magang non kependidikan, ada praktek industri dan lapangan. Ini yang nanti tim penyusun panduan PI dan PKL ini sedang bekerja keras untuk menyelesaikan menerjemahkan 6-20 ya, kira-kira seperti apa. Nah, kemudian untuk terapan juga sama ya, ini juga kita kemarin membentuk 2 tim ya. Yang pertama membuat panduan ini praktek industri dan praktek lapangan untuk yang S1 dan kemudian ada tim yang untuk yang diploma. Kemudian ini mata kuliah fakulter kita. Harapannya yang pendidikan seperti ini, pilihan-pilihannya non pendidikan ini terapan seperti ini. Dan untuk mata kuliah fakulter ini 4 sampai 10 kalau tidak salah ya yang bisa diambil. Jadi range-nya kalau mengambil 4 SKS saja sudah cukup untuk mahasiswa. Nah kemudian ini tambahan dari Pak Dekan kemarin ya, terkait dengan penerapan kurikulum ini, maka untuk semester 7 pada khususnya ini harus diberikan gambaran ya konsekuensi dari penerapan kurikulum 2020 ini. Nah, Bapak Ibu sekalian, ya sebagai penutup ini tadi sudah saya sampaikan. Hari ini harapannya kita ada internalisasi, kemudian juga nanti masukan-masukan dari pakar-pakar yang kita undang pada hari ini, ya Prof. Muhsin dan Balakrisnan. Ini bisa menambah ya cakupan wawasan kita sehingga nanti konsekuensi konten yang harus kita kembangkan karena bisa jadi mata kuliahnya sama tapi kemudian dengan tuntutan yang ada ya CPL yang ada ya kontennya harus berubah ya. Dan tuntutan yang bisa diterima di global seperti apa ya. Dan harapannya nanti juga kita bisa diskusi tentang student exchange ya dengan Prof. Rohid dari India dan Nurzanah dari Malaysia. Ya, dan yang terakhir nanti kira-kira apakah kurikulum kita nanti ya akan sesuai ya dengan tuntutan kebutuhan tenaga kerja global. Ya. Nah, ini yang harapannya nanti Bapak Ibu terutama tim kurikulum terutama tim kurikulum ya ini bisa lebih fleksibel karena memang di tingkat universitas diskusinya masih berjalan Bapak Ibu ya, diskusinya masih berjalan sehingga sangat mungkin ada perkembangan-perkembangan yang harus kita pantau dan ada penyesuaian-penyesuaian di tingkat fakultas maupun di tingkat prodi ya, sehingga semalam saya mengingatkan ke Bapak Ibu Kajur Kaprodi gitu ya meningkatkan power kesabaran karena rasanya kemarin kita sudah banyak beraktivitas tapi ternyata ada perubahan-perubahan yang harus kita sesuaikan. Baik Bapak Ibu sekalian, sudah 20 menit belum? Nah Bapak Ibu sekalian, saya kira ini gambaran awalnya. Kemudian tadi Pak Dekan sudah mengingatkan kepada kita semuanya bahwa ada beberapa catatan terkait dengan kurikulum kita, yaitu dengan VP ya. Nah, tadi sudah disampaikan juga Pak Dekan bahwa insya Allah kita ada kemarin ada 11 kalau tidak salah, 11 atau 12, tapi kita dengan dana yang ada kita mencukupkan dengan 10 VP saja ya untuk 10 mata kuliah yang kita sebar di 8 prodi baik S1 maupun D3. Nah, ini harapannya nanti Bapak Ibu yang tandem ya untuk mata kuliah yang ada, silahkan bisa banyak diskusi ya terkait dengan kebutuhan-kebutuhan penguatan konten dari masing-masing mata kuliah itu. Ya. Nah, ini nanti beliau-beliau kita kasih kesempatan bisa mengajar sampai 8 sesi, separuh-separuh. Dan insya Allah seperti semester kemarin tidak akan mengurangi SKS Bapak Ibu, tidak mengurangi rebon Bapak Ibu. Ya. Ini kemudian, oke, ini sudah. Ya. Nah, Bapak Ibu sekalian, salah satu yang sedang kita kejar ini oleh teman-teman tim O2IK, ya ini sedang mengejar kolaborasi dengan berbagai macam pihak, ya kolaborasi terkait dengan pelaksanaan kurikulum, ya kemudian kerjasama misalnya terkait dengan penelitian, kemudian authorship dan seterusnya. Ini juga terkait nanti dengan persiapan kita dalam pemeringkatan universitas di QS terutama. Ya. Nah, oleh karenanya mohon nanti kerjasama Bapak Ibu sekalian. Ini ada paling tidak ada 4 atau 5 ya VP yang sudah mengajukan joint research dengan kita. Ya. Kemudian ada 3 draft paper yang siap kolaborasi dengan kita. Kemarin saya minta teman-teman untuk ngecek tema-temanya dan mungkin nanti bisa dicarikan dosen-dosen yang sesuai. Semalam saya ngobrol dengan Kanisan, dia membutuhkan orang dari dosen kita atau peneliti kita di bidang manajemen keuangan. Ya. Nah, ini nanti bisa ditindaklanjuti segera. Ya, saya kira ini banyak sekali yang harus kita kerjakan. Ya. Nah, jadi mudah-mudahan dalam kondisi work from home yang masih banyak di rumah dan Jogja tren COVID-nya masih belum turun, ya bahkan kecenderungannya masih naik. Mudah-mudahan kita masih diberikan kesehatan, terhindar dari COVID, dan kita masih bisa meningkatkan produktivitas kita sebagai akademisi. Saya kira itu yang bisa saya sampaikan. Jika nanti ada diskusi, saya kira nanti bisa detailnya karena ini juga sangat terbatas ya waktunya. Nanti bisa kita kembangkan di masing-masing prodi karena ini prodi juga saya kira pekan-pekan ini masih harus merevisi lagi gitu ya beberapa mata kuliahnya ya dengan perubahan-perubahan yang ada. Demikian saya kembalikan lagi ke moderator. Thank you very much. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, thank you very much Pak Setia Budi Indartono for a very insightful presentation. Okay, mungkin saya informasikan dulu pada Bapak dan Ibu, nanti sesi pertanyaan akan ada setelah sesi ketiga. Jadi jika ada pertanyaan mohon di keep dulu ya. So if you have questions, please keep the question until the third session. Okay, Ibu and Bapak, ladies and gentlemen, now we are in the second session. Soon after this, we will listen to the presentation from Professor Mohsin Rahman Sheikh. Yeah, let me check him first. Hello, Professor. Belum ada. Atau yang Pak Balakrishna? Okay, because Professor Mohsin is not online at the moment. Now, I'd like to greet Professor Balakrishnan. Professor, can you hear my voice?
Yes, I can hear
Okay.
your voice clearly.
All right. Okay. So I think because we cannot connect with Professor Mohsin, you'll be the speaker for the session too. Is it okay?
Yes, sure, no problem.
Okay. All right. Professor, allow me to read first your CV for the audience.
Sure.
Okay. And please correct me if I'm wrong. Oke, Bapak dan Ibu, saya akan bacakan CV dari Profesor Balakrishnan. Yeah. Well, his complete name is Bala Muralitahara Balakrishnan, and he's now an associate professor in the Faculty of Arts, Computing and Creative Industry, University Pendidikan Sultan Idris Tanjung Malin, Perak, Malaysia. He gained his PhD in Multimedia University or MMU, Malaysia. And he has published numerous articles in reputable journals and also published some books and book chapters, I think. So I think there are many work that he has done, and it is good for us to learn from him. Okay, to save the time, I think now I should pass the floor to Professor Balakrishnan. Professor?
Thank you very much,
Yes.
Ibu Lucy.
Yes, Lucy.
Thank you very much. And I would like to actually extend my appreciation to Prof. Dr. Setiabudi for inviting me for this particular very valuable workshop. And when I'm actually listening to Prof. Setiabudi, I could see that UNY is actually moving towards what we call the freedom curriculum, which is in a very basic education language, we call it competency-based education. All right. I think that is a very good one. And we in Malaysia also have the similar thing. Maybe I also can actually share with you some of it in my presentation. But today, my presentation will be more on the skills that we have to acquire by the year 2030. As we know that we are in 2020 today, and there are 10 years to go so that we can reach 2030. Are we actually ready in the terms of preparing the future workforce for this 2030? Because as we know, the world is changing. The world is changing, the people are changing, the situation also is uncertain in this world. So, are we ready to prepare our students for the future? So, that will become my main agenda for today. All right, so let us go to the first slide here. These are the global mega trends that we are going to face in this century, the 21st century. And for the next 20 to 30 years, we are going to look in the terms of globalization. I'm from Malaysia, you all from Indonesia. Today we can actually meet online. All right, we are actually can meet face to face through the virtual platform. So that is what we call globalization. All right. And there will be also another professor from India will come and joining us later. So these are a good thing about this. So we are actually in this world, we are already moved towards globalization. We have a massive technological change that we have to embrace and keep update ourselves. All right. We used to have face-to-face teaching and learning process. But due to the pandemic today, we already changed it to online, virtual classrooms and so on. We also having an issue on the urbanization. Why? Because there will be more and more people will come to the urban area. All right. I think that is the similar problem in Indonesia. All right. Where the Jakarta has, I think, massive population over there until Bapak Jokowi would like to actually change the capital to Jakarta to somewhere in Kalimantan, but not sure whether it will be realized or not. We just have to wait for it. And for sure, we have a political uncertainty with the China and the US are actually, having lock head-to-head in terms of their economical problems and political problems that eventually affecting us. All right. At the same time, environmental sustainability also become an important issue, right? And one more important thing that we are facing today is the health issue. This is what you all have to wear the mask, all right? And actually listening to what I'm saying here. But I'm okay. I don't need to wear mask because I'm sitting in my office room, so it's okay. All right. But when I'm going out, I have to wear the mask. So these are the things that we are actually facing in this current situation, and these are the things that we're going to face in the future. So are we actually well prepared, our graduates, in order to face this kind of trends that they are going to face in future? All right, what are the drivers for the future skill? What we have to know as an educator, all right, I think all of us are educator, technocrats. We have to know that when we are teaching, there are a few things that we have to taking into consideration. The first thing is the Industrial Revolution 4.0. That is going to become the big driver in the next future. And we also have gig technology and economy that is going to drive more of us to become self-employed. That is where the Vira Usaha is coming in. All right, where is the entrepreneurship is coming in. All right, the gig technology and the economics comes in. And what are the other drivers for the future skills that we have to make sure our graduate has is that the health. Because last time, as I know, health is not become an important issue until we got the COVID-19. Until the COVID-19, health is become not the future skills. Health is not been embedded in as a future skill. But after COVID-19, it's already been embedded there. So it means what? We ourselves need to take care of ourselves. At the same time, we need to take care of others also in terms of the health context. And most importantly, the drivers for the future skills, one of the elements are the humanity. As a human, we have our own religion. We have to move with that particular path. All right. We are not only serving to ourselves, we also have to serve to the other human being also. So these are the things that is going to drive the future skills in the next coming years. All right. So when we are actually trying to put up our curriculum, our context of education and so on and so forth, make sure that we are taking care of these four elements, because this is the things that they're going to drive us for the future. So as we can see that there will be 133 million by the year of 2022 in these particular jobs. And these particular jobs are basically mainly, all right, determined by the IR 4.0. So are we ready for that IR 4.0? Are we actually producing our graduate according to the IR 4.0 needs? So you can see here that 133 million jobs are going to happen in this particular profession. So please make sure that our graduates are also possess this kind of skills. All right. So if you look at university here, faculties of economic in UNY, I think all of you are from faculty of economic. So if you're looking at that particular faculty, so when you are telling about economic, it's not only economic itself, but it's also must amalgamation with the technology, amalgamation with the IT. So that is what our graduate needs to have. All right. So that is the impact of IR 4.0 in future. So I think this number will be growing more and more when it's reached 2030 and so on. And in Malaysia, the gig economy and technology has changed the paradigm of the workforce, because as you can see here that there are about 16% in year 2016 that our population of the workforce, the total workforce, 16% are self-employed. It means what? They are entrepreneurs. And in 2020, the latest data, it shows that about 19% of Malaysians are entrepreneurs. And the numbers are growing, and it's going to be grow and grow and grow. All right. This has been actually facilitated by the technology, because last time, as we can see, the number is quite small. But when the technologies comes in, when the social media comes in, the numbers are actually already grow. And with more and more jobs are being actually abolished, and more employees are losing their jobs due to COVID-19, and these people already become self-employed. They already venture in the entrepreneur. So it has also happened, a few friends of mine who are actually engineers and also managers, they are lost their job due to COVID-19, and they already become entrepreneur. So these are the things that is going to happen in future. So are we actually preparing our students? Are they only just going to be a workforce, or are they also have the entrepreneurial mindset so that they can survive in the next future? So these are the things that we have to look into. So what are the skills that needed basically? So this is very important, because when you are actually creating a curriculum, when you're creating the pedagogy for the subject, so on, the skills are important to be embedded, to be infused, so that we are actually producing a holistic graduate who can be successful as a workforce. All right, they can actually work as an employee in an organization, or they can become entrepreneur. So it's up to them to choose, but the skills must be there. All right, so there are things that we have to understand here. So in 2022, according to the World Economic Forum, there are many skills are actually growing and become trendy, and that there are few skills are already declining. So one of the important skills that is going to be declined is the technology installation and maintenance. All right, management of financial and material resources, management of personnel. It means one day maybe HR, human resource, all right, there won't be a manager there. All right, maybe a computer will determine the human resource aspect. All right, so what are the things that are actually growing? Okay, let us look at the growing and trending here. The first thing is the analytic thinking and innovation. It is the same thing going for the growing and trending. So what we can say that here is that creativity and innovation will become a growing skills that our students should possess, so that they can be successful in the workforce in the future. So that is other things. At the same time, not only creativity and innovation, but you can see here also there are emotional intelligence, leadership, all right, social influence. These are the skills that will become the next player. Is going to actually make the student to become a holistic graduate who can be successful in future. So these are the things that we also have to put in our mind when we are actually setting up the curriculum. All right, so these are the skills that is needed. So make sure the subject, the way we are actually carving the curriculum, it must be in line with what the future needs. So these are the 10 skills for the future workforce that is really needed. So it is less and less is become what is your CGPA, what is your academic. It is about more to skills nowadays. All right. So just looking at this, sense making, social intelligence, novel adaptive thinking, cross-cultural competency is very important thing, because today they are going to be work in Indonesia. Maybe tomorrow they will be going to Australia, or they will come to Malaysia to work. So this is where the cross-cultural competency is become an important aspect. Are we actually making this to our student? All right, are we actually bringing this thing to our student or not? So these are the things that we have to look into. Computational thinking, all right, media literacy, new media literacy, designer mindset. These are the things that we need to have here. And at the same time, you look at number 10, virtual collaboration is also becoming an important aspect now, an important skill, because as what we are doing now, it's about virtual collaboration. I'm here in Malaysia, Prof. Setiabudi in Indonesia, but we are able to write a paper. All right, we are able to produce two articles in Scopus. So this is where the virtual collaboration skills are also important. It doesn't mean that I have to meet Dr. Setiabudi face to face. No, I never meet him until today. But today I have seen him through this Zoom. All right, so these are the things that the virtual collaboration skills are also important for us. All right, so these are the things that we have to think about when we crafting our curriculum later. So this is quite an alarming statement. Over half of Asian youth won't have the skills needed for the future jobs, and majority of them from South Asia. Okay, but they say that Asian youth. Why? Because you looking back at our education system in the region of Southeast Asia or Asia per se, it is more on curriculum based. It's more to traditional based. So that is where I think I will have to congrats UNY, especially the faculty of economics here, because you already moved towards the future curriculum, the future education. That is where we call competency based education. So the freedom curriculum that you're going to have is something that will become a very useful for the future workforce in Indonesia, not only in Indonesia, but all over the world. All right. So let us look at the context of education now. Just now I'm mentioning what are the skills needed in the context of the workforce. All right. What we needed in the when a graduate want to survive as an employee, what or he will be doing after graduation. So that is what the context that we are actually have given. But in this sense here, all right, we are looking at the education now. So what skills will be needed so that our students will be having these two things here? First of all, they must have higher cognitive skills, and at the same time, social and emotional skills must come together. All right. It is not only about technical education. It is not only about the subject, but at the same time, we have to give them the skills such as the social and emotional skills so that they can become a holistic person in future. All right. So that is why the leadership, managing others, emotional intelligence, service orientation is become an important thing, because we want our students not only become good manager, but manager plus human. It is important. Okay, they must have the humanity aspect as well. All right. So in Malaysia, we do have the Malaysian education blueprint for the preschool until post-secondary education, and we also have Malaysian education blueprint for the higher education. So we are already moving towards the 2020. So we are in the wave 3, whereby we are already able to move towards the vision of the Malaysian education blueprint here. So what is the vision of it? Basically, they already mentioned that in our education system in Malaysia, one student, when we are actually creating a student, let's say in a primary, secondary, or even in the tertiary education, they must possess these 6 elements: knowledge, thinking skills, leadership skills, bilingual proficiency, because in Malaysia, we are actually emphasizing on Bahasa Melayu and English, and ethics and spirituality and national identity. So this is where the 6 elements are becoming an important aspect in our Malaysian education blueprint. And also, it is already stated in our national education philosophy. So looking at back here, so we have to make sure that the system or the creation of the pedagogy that we are actually putting in our education context, it must actually make sure these skills has been embedded in the curriculum. So what it will happen here is that a student will become an engaged thinker, entrepreneurial spirit, and ethical citizen. So this is going to be the driver for the skills. So what are the skills there? Critical thinking, creativity, innovation, social responsibility, and cultural, global, and environmental awareness, communication, digital literacy, lifelong learning, and collaboration and leadership. These are the skills, what we call as the 21st century skills that is needed by the 21st century learner. So make sure that this thing has been realized so that we can have a holistic graduate later, all right, in future. So these are the skills that our student need to have, all right. It can be from primary, secondary, even in a university, doesn't matter, all right. It is just about the level of the problem solving, all right, and so on will be changed. But they should possess these 9 domain skills, okay, such as problem solving, collaboration, creativity, self-awareness, all right, initiative, critical thinking, persistence, service mentality, and real-world effectiveness. And I liked this one word here is service mentality. It means to serve the people. So that's why I'm saying it is not only to become a good manager, but also must have a humanity aspect as well. So that is where they have to serve the nation, serve the people around them. So this is the skills that we need to embed it in our students, in our graduate later. So in Malaysia, as what Dr. Setiabudi has mentioned, we also have a similar kind of a curriculum here, but it is only depends on a certain programs such as engineering, multimedia creative, and also, if I'm not mistaken, some technical programs, whereby the students will have a 2 years in university study and 2 years in the industry. At the same time, they can do 3 years university and 1 year in industry. So they can go to industry and learn, okay, to get their degree. At the same time, they also can have about 3 years in university and 1 year in 3 years in university and 1 year in industry. So this is the flexibility, or what we call as the freedom education that has been given here in Malaysia. Also, we have quite similar with what what has been mentioned just now. All right, and so these are the things that we have to make sure when we are going towards the freedom curriculum. All right, so make sure these things are actually has been moved. All right, that means from knowledge acquisition to knowledge application, from a one subjective and objective measure to multiple objective and subjective measures, from an assessment, from a very standard assessment to a performance-based assessment, and from a norm reference evaluation to criteria reference evaluation. So this is where the outcome-based education also comes in this context. All right, so this is how a traditional education moved to competency-based curriculum. That is what I think quite similar to the freedom curriculum that has been going to be established or maybe being established by UNY, okay, currently. All right, so let me end my presentation with one quote by the director of OECD. All right, he mentioned that, all right, education is no longer about teaching students something alone. It is important to be teaching them to develop a reliable compass and the navigation tools to find their own way in a world that is increasingly complex, volatile, and uncertain. So make sure that our graduates are being prepared for that. Our imagination, awareness, knowledge, skills, and most important, our common values, intellectual and moral maturity and sense of responsibility is what will guide us for the world to become a better place. So that is the things that we need to find out. All right, and we have to achieve. All right, so that is the things. So if we teach today as we taught yesterday, we rob our children of tomorrow. This is what John Dewey said in 1916. So I think we cannot teach the way that we did yesterday. We have to move as in the future. So thank you and terima kasih.
Okay, thank you, Professor. Thank you so much for a very insightful presentation. And for the audience, again, the question and answer session will be done after session 3. So thank you. If you have questions, please keep your question, or you can write your question in the chat room online. And if you have problem asking in bahasa Inggris, silahkan dengan bahasa Indonesia, nanti terjemahannya akan dibantu. Demikian. Okay, Professor, thank you so much. Now we should move to the third speaker. I'm wondering if he's already online or not. Hello. Okay, let me check it. Okay. Atau question and answer? Oke, sambil menunggu Profesor Mohsin, Bapak dan Ibu, jika ada pertanyaan, disilakan untuk mengajukan pertanyaan kepada Profesor Balakrishna atau mungkin pada Profesor Tia, disilakan. Profesor Balakrishna.
Yes.
I think the audience want to have your presentation, your slides. I mean, is it okay if you share that with us?
Yes, I will send to Ibu Budi Tiara later.
Okay, sure. Thank you so much, Professor. Okay. It's a very inspiring presentation indeed.
Thank you very much for your compliment.
Ya, oke. Bapak dan Ibu disilakan untuk bertanya. Oke. Masih belum ya?
Yang bisa kontak.
Okay, I think, we have question in group chat, Professor.
Yes.
From Ibu Zahratus Solihah.
Okay.
Service mentality in workplace vetting, does it include the ability to develop commitment for the job organization or a job or organization? What are the measurements for that? I mean, how can we assure that our students would be able to develop this kind of commitment when they are entering workforce? Okay, Professor.
All right. Yes. Let me just answer it one by one. Because there's a lot of interrelated aspects that Ibu Zarathus actually mentioned here. Okay, let me just go one by one. Actually, if you can look at the service mentality, it can be actually enhanced with what we call the pedagogy of service learning, all right, or community engagement. So when you teach a subject, for an example, about management, for an example, is it you just going to mention about management of a certain organization or management of a society? All right. Are we actually talking about, when we are talking about business ethics? Are we only talk about business per se, or the ethics in the context of social responsibility? So these are the things that we need to actually look into, look into careful. So what I will say here that service mentality, it is important, and it can be actually embedded through education, through what we call the pedagogy strategy called service learning. So I think you can just go and Google it up, okay, the meanings of service learning, and you can see. And very simple, it's about community engagement. All right, community engagement, we bring the students to serve the community. I think most of the universities are doing that. But some students are not realizing it because they just do community service just to serve the community. But are we actually telling them about the connection between the profession and also the society? Are we going to make sure that the students are able to bring the concept of service mentality to the workforce? That is the second question that Ibu asked me just now. What are the measurements for that? Actually, this is the aspect of not cognitive or skills. This is the aspect of effective learning domain, what we call value. So when it comes to value, it is very hard for us to measure, but we can only see it through, we cannot see through tangible, because it is about in our heart. It is about what we are doing for the society. So there is no certain element or measurement for values and attitude. All right. But what we can do is actually we can measure through their characterizations. Maybe from there, we can do that. And then how we can assure that our students will be able to develop those kind of commitment when they are entering workforce. That means, that's why I'm saying, when you are actually bringing the students for the community engagement, it is not merely for community engagement itself. We must also put the concept of the profession as well when they are going for the community engagement. They have to bring themselves as the manager. They have to bring themselves as a, as an entrepreneur. So we have to make sure that kind of a mentality or that kind of attitude has been embedded there. All right. So I think maybe I'm able to somehow answer this very, very complex question here.
Yeah, indeed, it's very complex. Okay, thank you, Professor. Ibu Zahratul Solihah, would you like to follow up your questions, please? Ibu Zahrat. Oh, you are there. I'm sorry. Mungkin bisa langsung. Well.
Ibu faham kan jawapannya tadi?
Yeah. Would you like to follow up the question? Oh, she's busy. Yeah. Okay.
Should I use mine?
All right. Yeah.
Thank you, Professor, for the explanation. Because, for today workforce, it's already the millennial generation, which people consider them as having the lack sense of togetherness. So it is predicted that the next workforce, the students now who will enter the workforce later, next generation, they will have less sense of togetherness than the millennials workforce nowadays. So what do you think about that? Because people at workplace, they argue that it is important than just academic skills or other skills to want to possess. It is more important for them to have the sense of togetherness. And I would like to hear your opinion on that. Thank you.
Okay, I think what Ibu mentioned just now, it is very true. Because in this 21st century, we can see that more and more people are become self-centered. All right. When it comes to the workforce, we also, most of us are just focusing on our academic achievement, not what we are going to serve the world or serve the people. It is about how we're going to make ourselves rich and richer and to become the richest person in the world. And I think Faculty of Economics are producing all the rich people in this world, isn't it? Because that is the you know, the things that Faculty of Economics should do. All right. This is where I think, Ibu, when you are actually teaching, please make sure you embed the sense of responsibility among your students. The social responsibility among your students is an important skills that should be possessed by each of your graduates, so that they are able to be someone who can actually serve the people in the future, not only thinking about themselves. All right, Ibu?
Yep. Okay.
Yes, so that is
Thank
the
you
thing.
so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Professor. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we are lucky because now Professor Mohsin is now here with us. He's already online. Professor Mohsin, are you with me? I think you still mute. Okay.
Yeah, good morning. I'm here.
Yeah, okay. Good morning from Yogyakarta. We are very glad that you are here. Okay,
you.
finally with us. How are you, Professor?
I'm fine. Thank you.
Great. Okay, so ladies and gentlemen, we now will have our final session with Professor Mohsin, and let me read his CV first. Professor Mohsin Rahman Sheikh is now a professor in ASM or Audio Siksan Mandal Institute of Professional Studies India. I'm sorry if I pronounce it wrong, Professor. And
It's correct.
yeah, okay, thank you. He gained his PhD in University of, is it Pune or Pune?
Pune.
Pune, yeah? University of Pune, India. And he previously worked in many universities and institutes such as ZIL Institute, Dian Sagar Institutes of Management and Research, and many more. He has written numerous articles published in many reputable international journals and also presented in many international seminars and conferences. So I think to save the time, I will just pass the floor to you, Professor. Are you ready?
Yes, yes. I'm ready.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, Professor Mohsin, the floor is yours.
Good morning to all of you.
Good morning.
First of all, I would like to thank the Dean of the Faculty of Economics, Professor Siswantoyo, and Professor Setyabudi for giving me the opportunity to present on this topic.
Yeah.
Can you see my screen?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Very clearly.
So today we will be discussing on the skills for 2030, an Indian perspective. Now I will be discussing about what are the skills that will be required for the students in the year 2030, and what are the challenges faced by Southeast Asia and especially India. What are the opportunities in this coming years, and what India has done as a country to prepare its workforce, to prepare its student for the skills that will be required in the year 2030. Now, this is the challenge that the Southeast Asia as a whole will be facing. By 2030, more than half of 12th passed Indians will lack the skills to get jobs. So more than 50% of the students who have passed 12th standard, that means who have got education up to 12th grade, will lack the skills to get the jobs. Now, this was based upon one of the survey conducted by UNICEF. It says only 47% of young students in India will get the right skill sets at the right time. That means less than 50% of the students will get the right skills that will be required for them to get the jobs. Then UNICEF also conducted one survey called Voices of Youth. Now, it surveyed more than 32,000 young people who are less than 24 years of age in South Asia. And this survey found that most of the youths are not happy with the education system in their country. They found that the youths are of the opinion that the education system are outdated and do not prepare them for employment. So this is what the youths of Southeast Asia feel, or South Asia feel, that the schools, the colleges, the universities, they do not prepare them for employment. Majority of the people, majority of the young students, they feel that their education system do not prepare them for jobs. Their education system is outdated. That is what the students feel. Now, the survey also found out that what is the reason? Why do our youths feel that the education system is outdated? Why they feel that the education system do not prepare them for jobs that are required in the market? Now, the first reason why these youth feel that the education system is outdated, the education system do not prepare them for employment, is because of bribery demand, discrimination, and unfair hiring practices. They feel that in order to get a job, you need to provide bribe, you need to pay money to people. Second important aspect, they found that there is discrimination. There is a lot of discrimination in the job market. That means people are discriminated, maybe on the basis of caste, maybe on the basis of religion, maybe on the basis of region, maybe basis on the region they belong, language, so on and so forth. So there is discrimination. And another reason was that unfair hiring practices. That means there are the hiring practice, the recruitment process is not fair. There is problem in the recruitment process. There is no transparency in the recruitment process. So there are unfair hiring processes. So 44% of the youths felt that here the education system is not good, it is outdated because there is bribery, there is discrimination, and there are unfair hiring practices. 26% of the students, they said that this is because lack of work experience. The education system do not prepare them for jobs because they do not have work experience. So in the market, in the job market, the employers, they want experienced candidates, and the education system do not provide this work experience. The third reason was that there is inadequate support services to improve employability. That means the universities, the schools, the college, the institutions of higher learning, they do not provide support services to improve employability. That means they do not provide them opportunities to improve their employability. So maybe the syllabus, the curriculum is not updated. The pedagogy, the delivery of the curriculum is outdated, and therefore the education system do not provide them the opportunity to increase their employability skills. Then there was another survey which was conducted by Ernst and Young. Now this Ernst and Young India report, they said that the unemployability is due to low quality of education. The quality of education provided by the universities is of low quality. The quality of education is not good. And second reason why there is unemployment is because suboptimal vocational training, which do not give students the desired skills the labor market demands. So the vocational training which is provided to the students in the country, the vocational training which is provided by the vocational schools, the training centers, do not give the desired skills, do not provide the skills to the students that are required, that are demanded by the labor market. So the labor market, the demand for the skill is there, but the vocational training institutes are not preparing the students for such type of skills. So these are the reason why the youth in our country or the youth in the South Asia feel that the education system is not good. They are not happy and satisfied with the education system. Now, on the other hand, these are the challenges, but there are also opportunities in the years to come. Now, South Asia will have the largest youth labor force in the world until 2040, with almost half of its population of 1.8 billion below the age of 24, led by India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. Now, Southeast Asia will have the largest youth labor force, and most of this labor force will be less than the age of 24, and this will be from the countries like India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh. So India, Pakistan, and Bangladesh will have the largest youth labor force. Now, on the other hand, if you see the American and the European countries, for example, if you take the case of Japan, if you take the case of other European countries, if you take the case of Russia, you will find that there is a problem of aging of workforce. The workforce is aging. They do not have young workers to work in their factories. Therefore, Southeast Asia will be one of the major exporter of manpower to American and European markets. So this is a great opportunity for South Asia, because in South Asia, we will be having the largest youth labor force in the world by 2040. Now, another important aspect of the Indian economy is it will become the youngest country in the world with an average age of 29 years by 2020. So currently, India is the youngest country in the world with the large number of people in the age group of 29 years. So this is what we call as the demographic dividend. It means you have a large number of young people who are ready to work. Now, when you have a large workforce, young workforce who is ready to work, this will give rise to more and more output. And this in turn will give rise to economic growth and development, because you have a large number of young people who can work in the factories, and the number of people who are dependent is less. The old people are less, the young people are more, and that is what we call as the demographic dividend. And this demographic dividend will give rise to economic growth and development. Now, India will become the largest workforce in the world by 2030 with over 90 million people upskilling themselves in futuristic technologies such as artificial intelligence, blockchain, cybersecurity, among others, according to the report prepared by NESCOM. So India will become the largest workforce in the world, with over 90 million people upskilling themselves in futuristic technologies such as artificial intelligence, blockchain, cybersecurity, and other technologies. So India will have a large skilled population, a large workforce who is skilled in the latest technologies, latest skills like artificial intelligence, blockchain, cybersecurity. So this report was prepared by NESCOM. NESCOM is the National Association for Software Companies in India. So according to this NESCOM, more and more people will upskill themselves in the technologies like artificial intelligence, blockchain, cybersecurity, and India will become one of the largest workforce. So these are the opportunities. On one hand, we have challenges, and on the other hand, we have lot of opportunities in the coming years. Now, once you know that what will be the challenges that will be faced by these South Asian countries by the year 2030, and what are the opportunities that they have in the future, now we should understand that what are the skills required in the future. In 2030, what are the skills that will be required? Now, before we understand what are the skills that are required, we should understand how do you define skills? What are skills? So skills are the ability and capacity to carry out processes and be able to use one's knowledge in a responsible way to achieve a goal. So skills, these are the abilities. These are the capacities to carry out processes, to carry out different tasks, to carry out different processes, and to be able to use one's knowledge in a responsible way to achieve a goal. So this is how we define skills. Now, the OECD estimates that 1.1 billion jobs are liable to be radically transformed by technology in the next decade. So the association, the Organization for Economic Cooperation and Development, this association says that 1.1 billion jobs will be radically transformed by technology in the next decade. So in the next 10 years, by 2030, most of the jobs will be radically transformed. That will be having a great impact on technology. So with the advent of technology, like what we call as the fourth industrial revolution, Industry 4.0, this will transform majority of the jobs. Majority of the jobs will change, and this technology will have an impact upon lot many jobs. The jobs will not be the same as they are today. They will be very different. Technology will have a great impact on the jobs. Now, as per the World Economic Forum, nearly half of the core skills are set to change by 2022 alone. Now, the skills that you require will change. The skills which you have today will no longer be required in 2022. Forget about 2030. By in this coming 2 years only, most of the jobs, more than half of the skills will change. So the skill requirement will change very fast. In 2017, McKinsey Global Institute estimated that as many as 375 million workers, or 14% of the global workforce, would have to switch occupations or acquire new skills by 2030 because of automation and artificial intelligence. So this McKinsey Global Institute, he conducted a survey, and they found that 14% of the total workforce in the world will have to change their occupations, will have to change their jobs, or they will have to acquire new skills. Why? Because of automation and artificial intelligence, because of automation, because of robotics, because of Industry 4, because of artificial intelligence being used in the industry. The 14% of the workforce will have to change their occupations, because they will no longer be having the skills that are required for that particular job, or they will have to reskill themselves. So lot of focus will be on acquiring new skill, reskilling the workforce, upskilling, reskilling, unlearning, learning, relearning. These are the things that will be required in the future. So in the future, we will require different skill set. The skills that we have today will no longer will be sufficient, will no longer will be required in the next few years. We need to acquire new skills. We have to reskill. We have to upskill our workforce. Now, what are the type of skills that will be required in the future? When we say that the technology will have an impact on the type of occupations, type of jobs, Industry 4 will create new types of jobs. Artificial intelligence, robotics, Internet of Things, IoT, blockchain, all these technologies will create new types of jobs. And for these new types of jobs, you will require new types of skills. So one of the survey found that there will be requirement of a new skill set in the job market by the year 2030. Three types of skills will be in great demand. We will require three types of skills in the near future. One is the technical skills. You will require technical skills, technological skills. Now, this will be in the areas of science, technology, engineering, mathematics. We call it as STEM, S-T-E-M, that is science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. So we will require skills in the area of science, technology, engineering, mathematics. We will require skills in the area of artificial intelligence. We will be requiring skills in the area of machine learning, in the area of deep learning, in the area of data science. So these type of skills will be required in future, which are based on science and technology related with the skills like the skills in artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, data science, data mining, and big data. So these are the type of technical skills that will be required in the future. The second type of jobs, or second type of skills that will be required will be social and emotional skills. Now, what will happen is that in future, you will require more of social and emotional skills. Now, skills like self-management, personal agility, resilience to weather change, empathy, these are the skills that are required. Now, we have seen in case of the today's COVID situation, how it is very important to have this resilience skill, the skills to be patient, the skills to withstand different calamities. So such type of social emotional skills will be required in the future. We will require people who are self-management. They are able to manage themselves. They are able to manage their emotions, personal agility. It means they are able to adapt themselves to the changing situations. They are having the resilience. They are having empathy to understand the perspective of others. So such type of social and emotional skills will be required in future. And the third type of skills that you will require in future is the higher cognitive skills, the higher order cognitive skills, the higher order mental processing skills like creativity, critical thinking and decision making, complex information processing and interpretation, quantitative and statistical skills. Now, what will happen is that due to the technologies like artificial intelligence, due to Industry 4, due to robotization, due to computerization, automation, now what will happen? The lower level cognitive skills, the lower level skills, the routine skills, the routine tasks will be computerized. the manual skills will be computerized. Certain other skills which are related to accounting, which are related to some sort of data collection, which are related to some routine skills. Now, these routine skills will be automated. These routine skills will be performed by the robots. There will be automation with the use of artificial intelligence, with the use of automation, with the use of robotics. The routine tasks will be computerized, will be automated. Now, when the routine tasks will be automated, there will be a need for higher level cognitive skills. You will require more of creative skills, creativity, problem solving, critical thinking, decision making, complex information processing, interpretation of complex information, quantitative and statistical thinking. So these type of skills will be required in future, because even if the jobs are automated, even if the robots take up on the job, even if your routine skills are automated, there will be a requirement of higher order skills, creativity, innovation. These type of skills the robot cannot think on his own. The robots will not have creativity, innovation. These are the human skills. So creativity, innovation, higher level cognitive skills, higher order complex information processing, interpretation, quantitative technical skills, these higher order cognitive skills will be required in future. So in future, we will require three types of skills. That is the technical skills, social and emotional skill, and higher order cognitive skills. So these are the skills that will be required in future, and the universities, the colleges, institutions of higher learning should prepare students for this type of skills, so that after acquiring the skills, the people, our students, will be ready to face the job market. They will be able to get jobs in the market because they possess these skills. Now, there was one survey conducted by the World Economic Forum in 2019. The World Economic Forum conducted a survey, and they found out that there will be 96 jobs which will be in great demand in the market in 2030. In 2030, 96 type of jobs, 96 jobs will be in great demand. Now, these 96 jobs, they classified into 7 job clusters. And these job clusters, wherein there will be great demand for this type of jobs in the future, these 96 jobs, which are divided into the 7 clusters, 7 professional clusters, are in the areas of sales, marketing, and content development. Another cluster is related with product development. Third is related with people and culture. Fourth is the jobs related with green economy. Fifth is the jobs related with engineering and cloud computing. Sixth, the jobs that are related with data and artificial intelligence. And seventh is the jobs that are related with the care economy. So these are the 7 job clusters, wherein this 96 type of jobs, they will be in great demand. So jobs related with sales, marketing, content, digital marketing, content development, this type of jobs. Jobs related with product development, that is software engineering, software development, product development, Scrum Master. So this type of jobs in this cluster. In people and culture, jobs related with HR, the HR function, training function, the function related with talent acquisition, talent development, the function related with culture, that is culture related with tourism, hospitality. Then the green economy, all the jobs that are related with green economy. That means, for example, now the renewable sources of energy, So green energy, the jobs related in the manufacturing of solar panel, the jobs related with the alternate sources of energy, wind energy, and all those type of jobs that are required for manufacturing the turbines required for the wind energy. So green economy, jobs which do not have a adverse impact on the economy, on the environment. So engineering and cloud computing. So the jobs related with cloud computing, engineering, jobs which are related with data. Now we require a lot of data scientists, data analysts, business analysts. So jobs which are related with data and artificial intelligence. And then the jobs related with the care economy. So care economy means people taking care, providing caregiving services like the baby care, babysitting, nurses, people who are taking care of the old. So the care economy, caregivers, service providers. So this type of jobs will be in great demand. So even today in the COVID situation, we find that the care economy is in great demand. So these are the 7 clusters of jobs which will have great demand in the year 2030. So these 7 clusters of jobs will be great demand. Now this we can use as a input. We can use these inputs to prepare our students for such type of jobs. We need to devise a curriculum so that these type of jobs are included, this type of skills, the skills that are required for this type of jobs in sales, marketing, product development, people, culture, green economy, engineering, artificial intelligence, care economy, these type of skill sets which are required for this type of jobs, we should inculcate, we should impart this type of jobs to our students. So these will be the jobs that will be required in the future. Now the last part of this presentation deals with the government initiatives in India. So if these are the challenges that we face as far as skills are concerned, if these are the opportunities we have as a country, as having the largest population of young workers, if these are the skills that will be required in future, if these are the jobs that will be required in future, how do we prepare ourselves? So what is the initiative? What are the initiatives taken by the government? So the government of India has taken a lot of initiatives to prepare its workforce, to make its workforce ready for the jobs that will be required in the future. Now, the first national policy on skill development was launched in 2009, making the beginning of competency-based skill development in the country. So we started with the national policy on skill development. The national policy on skill development was launched in the year 2009. Now this initiative is based on the pillars of short-term modular training and involvement of private sector in training delivery. So under this skill development, the government decided to provide training to the unskilled youth, short-term modular training with the involvement of the third parties, with the involvement of private parties in providing this delivery of training. Second, the Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship was established in 2014. So in 2014, the government of India set up a new ministry, Ministry of Skill Development and Entrepreneurship, which the focus was on developing the skills of the youth. Then in India, we also developed a NSQF, that is the National Skills Qualification Framework. So we grouped all the different skills. We codified the skills and we say that under the National Skills Qualification Framework, this is the qualification at level 1, level 2, level 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the levels of skills were defined and it was uniform across the country. So National Skills Qualification Framework was developed. Then in order to strengthen the skill development initiative, the National Skill Development Corporation was formed. So the National Skill Development Corporation, they find out in which sectors there will be more jobs in the future, what skills will be required in these sectors, and accordingly they will identify what are the skills requirement, what is the skills gap, and accordingly provide training to the youths in those type of skills that will be required for the jobs in future. And the National Skill Development Corporation also, they created different sector skill councils, SSC, that is sector skill council. When the government found that in this particular sector, maybe in the sector of alternate energy or in solar energy, there will be a lot of jobs. So there will be a solar energy skill sector. So the skill sector in solar energy will focus on developing the skills in the that will be required in the solar energy. For example, there will be a lot of jobs in the retail sector. So there will be a retail sector skill council. So the sector skill councils will be there for different sectors wherein there will be a requirement of jobs. And the sector skill council will prepare the list of courses that should be provided and the skill set that will be provided for that type of jobs. So similarly at the state level also, and there was this state skill development mission. So each state will have a skill development mission. My state, the Maharashtra state, have the Maharashtra State Skill Development Mission. And also the National Skill Development Mission was established in the year 2015. Then there were 600 model training centers called as the Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Kendra, PMKK. The Pradhan Mantri Kaushal Kendra, that means the Prime Minister's Skill Development Centers. So more than 600 model training centers were developed across India, which you will impart skill training to the youths. Now, Future Skill Initiative to industry professional across different segments, hire students and government officials with a goal to train 400,000 professionals in the next 3 years. So recently, the Future Skill Initiative was undertaken, in which the people who are existing, who are in employment, and students who are in higher education, there is a scheme to train these students in the future skills. Now this we call as PRIME. It is the program to reskill, upskill IT manpower for employability. So we have a lot of IT manpower, but you know that in IT there's a lot of changes in the skill set. Now we will require more jobs in data science, data analytics, artificial intelligence. So the current people, we need to reskill them, upskill them. Therefore, a digital platform called Future Skills Prime, it was formed, and under this Prime, that is program for reskilling, upskilling of IT manpower for employability, lot of current employees are trained for future jobs, future skills. So these are the initiatives that are taken by the government of India. And with this, I think this is what I was supposed to cover. So far, we have covered what are the opportunities in the year 2030, what are the challenges in the year 2030, what type of skills that will be required in the year 2030, what type of jobs will be in demand in 2030, and what are the initiatives taken by the government of India in order to face these challenges and exploit these opportunities. And from this, universities also can find that what are the future
Masih. Halo Profesor, Profesor Mohsin. Oh, hilang ya. Semoga bisa bergabung lagi. Sebentar. Nampaknya kita kehilangan. Ada. Oh. Saya tidak dengar, Pak. Yeah, Professor Mohsin, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can
Oh
hear you.
yeah, okay. We lose your audio for about 5 minutes ago. Okay, yeah, sorry. Perlu diulang atau langsung aja? Okay. All right. So maybe some of us miss the final part of your presentation because we hardly hear your voice. Yeah, but it's okay. Now we shall move to the next session. That is the question and answer. Sorry. I think we have got some questions on the group chat there. Would you like me to read it for you, or would you like it to read it yourself?
I will. You can read it out. I will also find
Okay.
out.
All right. So I will read the first question from Yudit
Yeah.
Ayu Respati. Okay. Now students must study online. There are some advantages and disadvantages in online learning. Some students feel more confident in participating at class because they are not facing the classmates directly. But there are also those who ignore the ethics of learning because the class is not being held face to face. In your opinion, with the demands of employment that continue to increase, how learning should be done or how the curriculum should be developed in order to not only improve academic skills but also skills related to ethics? That's the first question, Professor. Yeah.
Yeah. So one thing we should understand.
Uh-huh.
Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah. So one thing we should understand is that we will have to accept that there will be a lot of disruptions taking place, and we should be prepared for any type of disruptions. Now, COVID-19 again is a disruption, and we should learn to live with such type of situations. So there will be online learning will be a part of the university system now. We cannot ignore online learning. Now we have to have what we call as a blended learning both online and offline. Now in both these situations, now there is very important question of ethics. Now ethics, we have to have the self control. We should develop. Now ethics is such a thing that it is related with the individual. I cannot teach you ethics, it should come from you. And the ethical aspect, they are more to be developed in schools, they are more to be developed in the family. And in higher education system, uh, the scope for imparting ethic and ethical behavior is less. Here we have mature people, we have adults, we have mature people, and we expect that they will self-regulate themselves, they will have a control on themselves. So they should take the initiative, they themselves should promote ethical behavior. Of course, the universities and colleges should promote ethical behavior, should have a code of conduct, but it is up to the students to also abide by this code of conduct.
Okay. So yeah, thank you, Professor. And Ibu, sorry, ini Ibu ya, Ibu Yudit, you can uh, ask further questions. Yeah, either you can ask the host to open the access for you, or you can rewrite the questions. But I hope he answered your question already. Okay, Professor. Now we move to the second question. This is from Professor Setiabudi. How India government and industries work or programs for jobless of the graduated higher education students, that is 1 to 3 years after graduated. And how does Indian government manage millions of India experts, you mean, yeah? Experts spread out of India? There are two questions.
Now, as far as the first question is concerned,
Uh-huh.
that how does we manage a lot of students who graduate from the schools and colleges? Now, what the government has done is that yesterday only the government of India has come up with a new education policy. Now we have revamped the entire education system. The new education policy has come. There is a big document and which is implemented from today itself. The new education policy of the government of India will be implemented. Now, as far as the millions of graduates we are concerned, so what the government is doing is that there are two aspects. One is promoting entrepreneurship in the campus. So there are different schemes under which the government is promoting entrepreneurship right from the school level. So from the school level, we have a Atal Innovation Lab. We have a scheme of the government called Atal Innovation Lab. This Atal Innovation Lab is for school children. So we have a innovation lab in the school wherein the children can come up with new business ideas and where students are exposed to critical thinking and creativity at the school level. Okay. At the college level, at the university level, we have the scheme of the incubation center. So every university will get funding from the government to set up an incubation center. And this incubation center will work on different business ideas and provide financial support for the students. Now, after that, the government has another scheme called Startup India. Under this Startup India scheme, if you have been incubated by any incubator, if you have a good business idea, then you can apply for funding under this Startup India scheme. You apply, if you have a good business plan, you apply to funds from the Startup India. So Startup India is another initiative. So this is the first thing. That is, from the school level, you prepare students for entrepreneurship. So you start your own enterprise. And then you have the Startup India Fund, and then you have Make in India. So the products or the companies or the students who want to become entrepreneurs, they provide funding. Secondly, after providing the fundings, if you start manufacturing a product, again, there is a scheme called Make in India. So you get financial incentives in Make in India. So this is how we are managing. On the other hand, those students who are not going for entrepreneurship, those who want to go into the job market, for those type of students, we have, as I told you, the National Skill Development Corporation. There are a lot of programs wherein the students can take up these short-term courses, skill development courses. So we have, on one hand, we have Startup India. On the other hand, we have Skill India. That is providing skills training to the unskilled, because there are a lot of unskilled people in India also. There is a lot of problem about the unskilled workers. So those who do not have formal education, they are providing this skills training so that they are able to take up the jobs. So this is how, by promoting entrepreneurship and by providing skills training, we are trying to manage this. The second part, what was the second part of the question of Professor?
At the spread of the Indian expert internationally, how does the government manage them?
Okay. Yeah. Now this is a very good question, because what is happening is most of the Indian experts, they are working in countries like USA, in UK, and especially in the Gulf countries, like countries like Saudi Arabia, countries like UAE, countries like Oman. Lakhs of thousands of workers are working there, and most of them are also the higher level workers, especially the professionals, software professionals, doctors, engineers. They are working in USA and the other things. Now what is happening is that through this we are getting a lot of foreign exchange, because these workers or these professionals who are working outside the country, they are sending money to their family members, and we are earning a lot of foreign exchange through this expertise who are living in different countries. But what is happening is that many of them, they are also trying to come back to India. For that also, the country has a scheme wherein if you want to come back to the country, if you have a good business idea, if you want to come back to the country, if you are into academics or if you are into any sort of professional, if you are coming back to the country, there are relaxation given to this. They can come and join the research institutions. They can come back and join the Indian industry. So there are certain schemes which we welcome the talented people who have gone out of the country to come back to the country.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now it's a question from Ibu Liz. I think it is from both of you, Professor Bala and Professor Mohsin. The question is, in the future of the marketing profession, which skill is preferred or more prominent? Is it IT or communication?
Okay. Now, as I've in one of my slides, I showed that the sales and content development, business development, this is one of the cluster where there will be a lot of jobs. Now, if you think for a marketing type of job, now in marketing also, what has happened is, of course, you need to have good communication skills. In marketing, you need to have good communication skills. You should be able to communicate with the customer. You should be able to convince your customer regarding your products or services. But now what is happening is, now most of the times the sales are taking place via digital channel, and many there's a lot of requirement for digital marketing and digital content development. So for this digital content development, digital marketing, you should have good IT skills. So you should have a blend of both communication skills plus IT skills. So both skills are required.
Okay. So it's combination of both IT skills and communication skills.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you so much. All right. There's another question from Miss Husnu. She asked that. Okay. What is the characteristics of Indian school curriculum that make it different from other curriculum, in your opinion?
Okay. Now, as far as the Indian curriculum is concerned, the Indian school curriculum is, you can say, very heavy as compared to the curriculum of other countries. The content and the number of subjects, they are more. Now, there are three important subjects in the school curriculum in India. First is the languages. So since in India there are so many languages, so you have a regional language or your mother tongue, regional language, plus you have the national language, which is Hindi, plus you have English. And what the government has done, that government has made English language compulsory from the elementary schools. So English will be a compulsory subject. Whether your medium of instruction is your mother tongue or any other language, you will have English as a compulsory subject. So that is one important aspect. Second important aspect is, yes, since grade 1. Okay. So that is what the government has made it compulsory, that you need to have English from the school level also. The second important aspect is that lot of emphasis is put on science and technology. So we have the science and technology subjects like physics, chemistry, mathematics, environmental science. This, and besides that, we have another cluster we call it social sciences. So languages, social sciences, and science. So these are the three core components of the curriculum in Indian schools, and the students are exposed to these topics, to these subjects right from the school, the elementary school, and therefore one characteristics of the Indian school children is that they are exposed to these subjects from the very beginning, and they have a lot of mathematical abilities and the language proficiency. By the time they come out of schools, they are well versed in the languages as well as science and technology, and therefore they are well prepared.
Okay, in your opinion, I mean, does early learning of English have impact on the advancement of India?
Yes, if you see today, India is a global player in the IT industry. Now, the reason why India is a global player in the IT industry is only majorly because of two factors. One is the vast majority of English-speaking population, and therefore you see that most of the outsourcing jobs, IT outsourcing, IT services, India was able to get from the countries like US and other European countries is because of a pool of highly qualified people who are proficient in English. Therefore, different all the software services, the outsourcing of software services, the call centers type of jobs, India was able to get, and especially compared to China. China had a disadvantage because it did not have a large pool of English-speaking population, and therefore that was one of the advantage for India.
Yeah, because in Indonesia, unfortunately, the government trimmed the English subject from elementary school's curriculum. We used to have that, but since 2013, the government stopped providing English, especially in state schools.
Now, if you see the new education policy of India, it says that you give education in regional language. Plus, it does not say that you cannot teach English as a language. So both the aspects are again. If you want to give education in your mother tongue in any language, you can. At the same time, English is also introduced from the elementary level.
Okay, yeah, thank you. I think Indonesia should learn from India about that. Because yeah, my expertise is actually the teaching of English for young learners, and it's a pity to know that the government stopped that. Okay, so please, audience, still have time for the question and answer session. And you can also address the question to Professor Bala. We have 50 people here in this room. Professor Bala, are you still, oh, sorry. Oh yeah, he's still here. Okay. Professor, you have one question there.
Okay.
About, yeah, which one is more prominent, IT or communication in marketing, or maybe in all aspects?
Oh, okay, I think I will be actually have the same view with Prof. Moshin just now. But I would like to add up that if you look at my slide, the first slides, which I said, the drivers for the 21st century. There are four drivers basically. The first one is the Industrial Revolution 4.0. The second one is the gig technology and economic, and the health and the humanity. So if you look at the question, they said whether you prefer, is it the skill preferred more prominent, IT or communication? Since marketing, the basic skill that you need is communication. But since we are in the 21st century, where the IR 4.0 is going to drive everything, then the IT prominency is also equally important here.
Yeah. Okay. Yes, thank you very much, professors. Okay, so I think we still have time for the question and answer. Okay. Oh yeah, Professor Bala, you have one question from Ibu Yudit.
Yes, I would like to actually have this problem here because I think Ibu Yudit thought
Yeah.
that I'm from India. I'm
Yeah,
from
yeah. Because yeah, I also missed that in the beginning. I thought you're from India because your name sounds like Indian name. Yeah.
Yes. Saya ini orang Malaysia tapi asalnya dari India, Ibu.
Yeah, Indian blood. Yeah. So I think this question should be addressed to Professor Mohsin. Yeah.
Yes. Or maybe
Sorry.
I can change the question to how Malaysia curriculum.
Yeah. Sure. Yeah, sure. Please. Yeah. Because I think
How Malaysia curriculum
Yes.
includes soft skills needed by the students in current curriculum. Okay, so the soft skills that basically, as you know, that we are we are actually following the national education philosophy, whereby we have the national education blueprint. We have two types of blueprint in Malaysia. One is for the preschool, primary, and secondary school. Another one blueprint is for tertiary level, that is higher education. So if you look at the primary, from the preschool, primary, and the secondary school, the soft skill is basically embedded through a subjects. All right. So what soft skills that we are talking here? Basically, communication skill, problem solving skills. All right. Creativity and innovation. So these are the basic skills that is infused in the subject. And at the same time, there is a subject itself. For an example, if you want to improve the creativity and innovation, we have what we call reka bentuk technology. All right, we have a subject called reka bentuk technology, or what we call as the design and technology. So this is where, okay, the student will learn about it. And we also have a communication skills embedded through language. So it is also, I would like to actually bring the issue of the English has been omitted from your education system in the primary level, which is quite sad. But here in Malaysia, we emphasize that. All right. So since preschool itself, we emphasize the proficiency in English, and it's a mandatory subject in each school for each student to learn English, regardless of the type of schools. Because in Malaysia, we have three types of schools. One is what we call as a national school. Okay. The second one is the private school. The third one is international school. But the private school and the national schools, okay, is basically they are following. Basically, the national schools are following the system, the education system that is set up by Malaysia. Some private schools following the system that has in Malaysia. All right. Whereas English is becoming an important element here. So that is where the communication skills can be improved. So we are actually given the equal importance to Bahasa Melayu and also English. So in the higher education, how the soft skills has been embedded, it is through activities also. For example, the activities that related with the students, they will go to the society, okay, whereby there is projects that they have to embark on, in which they are able to improve their problem solving skills, their creativity, their innovation skills. And the students need to do a lot of presentation in our class, especially in my class. Communication has been, become a major emphasis in my class. So my students, each assignment, they have to present. So this is where they have to actually can improve their communication skills. So this is how the Malaysian curriculum basically include the soft skills. All right. Even in my presentation slide, you have seen that there are 6 attributes that the students should possess under the Malaysian education blueprint. So I hope that I answered the question. Thank you.
Yes, sure. Thank you very much, Professor. Yes, it is sad to know that Indonesia is the only country in Southeast Asia that does not provide English in elementary levels. Okay, Professor Mohsin, I think Ibu Yudit's question is actually for you. Please. Your microphone, please. Professor Mohsin, your microphone is mute. Yeah. Yes, please, Professor.
I think Professor Bala has rightly pointed out about how the soft skills are embedded in the curriculum in Malaysia. Similarly, in India also, the soft skills, both at the primary level and at the higher education also, we give a lot of emphasis. Now, in the primary section, the first thing is that English as a language has been made compulsory from the primary school. Now, since most of the students in India, they are from vernacular languages. We have different states. Each state has its own language. And therefore, the schools, they prepare students, or the medium of instruction is different in different states. So in my state, like Maharashtra, the state language is Marathi. If you go to a state in the north, in Punjab, the language is Punjabi. In Uttar Pradesh, it is Hindi. In the south, it is Malayalam, Tamil. So these are the different states having different languages. And for such type of schools, you can impart education in the state language or in any other language. So in Maharashtra, also in my state, if there is even if Marathi is the language, what is happening is more and more parents, they are putting their children in English medium schools. In fact, the number of Marathi medium schools in Maharashtra has been declining since many years. So in the primary level, it is through activities. The soft skills are imparted through activities, through different activities are given to the students, and through these activities, they try to develop the soft skills at the school level. Now, at the higher education level, we try to impart these English language or soft skills through what we call as there's a concept of a language lab. So each institution has a language lab wherein students can practice their English language skills with the help of audio videos. We have a computer lab which has the software loaded related with learning of English language. Yes. The other important aspect is, apart from the language lab, we have the other aspects like presentations, small group activities. Now, through these presentations, through these small group activities, through these projects, the students acquire these soft skills. The focus is not only on acquiring English language skills, but skills like
other
teamwork,
skills, problem
other
solving,
skills, other skills like teamwork, collaborations, interaction, empathy. So such type of skills are imbibed through different group activities. So this is how in the Indian curriculum importance is given to the development of soft skills at the primary level as well as in tertiary education system.
Yes, thank you very much. Professor Bala, you have two questions there. The first is from Ms. Husnu. What is the most important soft skills needed to be obtained by students in the 4.0 era?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. It's quite a good question here. Actually, the soft skills that that is needed is already been also included in the slide, which I actually mentioned. But since the question has appeared again, so let me just mention the important skills that the students should possess in order to face this 21st century. Or in this 21st century, in where we are actually in the era of Industrial Revolution 4.0. But for your information, in 10 years' time, the world is facing Industrial Revolution 5.0. So, but it's okay. Let us talk about 4.0 first. All right. What are the skills that is needed? First of all, creativity. Second, critical thinking. Third, communication. Fourth, collaboration. Fifth, citizenship. Sixth, character. So these are the things. Plus, since we are in IR 4.0, digital literacy, or what we call IT skills, are also a prominent skills that we have to achieve in this Industrial Revolution 4.0. So that is the first question. I think I answered that question.
Okay, and the next one is also for you. One of the drive of future skill is humanity. What is specific? What is the specific about it? I think.
Okay, so the specific about humanity. All right, you can be a good employee. You can be a successful, let's say you are a successful manager. You can be a successful lecturer. You can be a successful businessman, or even a successful and prominent politician. What is the use of become a successful businessman, successful politician, successful lecturer, but there is a lack of humanity, values inside you? So that is where this is the concept that the drivers of the what I said, the drivers for future skills, one of the aspect is humanity. So that is why I put the concept of humanity. Even according to the latest OECD 2030 Learning Compass, all right, they actually have the concept, they already have the element of humanity in the Learning Compass. So what is this learning humanity is about? Humanity is about the morality, which is being driven by our religion or any believing system that we are possessed. So humanity for what? To have a appropriate attitude, good values that you can actually serve to the society, to the world, for the well-being of the society. All right. So that is the main specific things that I am saying about this humanity here. So I really hope that I answered the question.
Okay. Yes. Sure. Thank you very much. No more questions there. I think. Yeah, that's the last questions. I think, professors. Yeah. But if you still have questions, Ibu Bapak, please. I can translate the question for you. Ibu? Yes, please.
Terima kasih. Ini saya dalam kebingungan, mungkin akan mendapatkan gambaran bahwa di zaman ke depan kita mempersiapkan anak didik kita itu untuk masa depan. Padahal perubahan begitu cepatnya. Misalnya kita punya jurusan pendidikan akuntansi yang nanti akan menjadi guru di sekolah kejuruan. Jadi sekolah kejuruan dan sekolah vokasi yang kami tanyakan mungkin ada di India atau di Malaysia. Bagaimana mekanisme pelaksanaan magang bagi mahasiswa sekolah kejuruan atau diploma yang ada di sana? Mekanismenya seperti apa, yang memberi penilaian itu siapa?
Oke.
Kalau di kita itu dosen memberikan, guru di sekolah juga memberikan, PKS juga memberikan. Guru tidak tahu, kita dosen di sini tidak pernah tahu keadaan mahasiswa kita yang sedang praktek di sekolah. Tapi kita juga memberikan ini. Lalu durasi praktek lapangannya itu berapa lama? Ini melihat perkembangan teknologi yang cepat, berarti kita dituntut untuk memberikan pembelajaran kepada siswa atau mahasiswa itu adalah satu kuncinya adalah berubah dengan cepat. Karena atau istilahnya pandai menyesuaikan diri. Oleh karena itu kiranya materi apa yang mungkin perlu diselipkan untuk menu-menu yang akan kita sediakan kepada para mahasiswa itu supaya mereka memiliki keterampilan untuk berubah dengan cepat, jadi pandai untuk menyesuaikan diri. Saya kira itu. Terima kasih.
Oke, Ibu, terima kasih. Oke, yes, Professor. Can you hear the question clearly? I think Professor Bala understand the question already, yeah?
Because the sound is not.
Oh, okay. So I'll try to translate that for you. It's from Ibu siapa? Oh, Ibu Isroah, ya. From Ibu Isroah. I think the main, I will just come to the menu. The first question is, how is the mechanism of internship in your country, in India and Malaysia? Magang or maybe practicum internship like that. Please tell us the mechanism, including the assessment. Who's doing the assessment? Is it the lecturer or the teachers? Because here in Indonesia, lecturers do the assessment, even though they're not on the field. It's quite problematic. And what about the duration of the internship? That's the first question. I'll repeat. The mechanism of internship, how is it like in your countries, including the assessment and the duration? And the second question is about the materials that could help, I mean, maybe the teaching materials that we could provide to help students adapting to the fast changing in the world. I mean, in the, the life, the materials that university should provide to help the student adjust with the quick change in the world now.
Okay.
Are the questions clear?
Yes.
All right.
Yes, yes.
Okay. So maybe I would like to start first to explain about Malaysia. Is it okay, Prof. Moshi?
Yeah. Please, please continue, sir.
Okay, because,
Sorry,
because Malaysia is nearer to Indonesia, so I should start first.
Yeah, no
I
problem.
understand.
Neighbor, tetangga, yeah.
But
All right. So
India has a long connection
Yes, yes, indeed.
with Indonesia.
okay. So let me start with the internship question. The first thing is that in Malaysia, we do have an internship which is different from one field to another field, right? If you look at medicine, the internship will be carries more than a year, all right? Let me put in the context of the current, the internship which is happened in the program such as in economic or even in my own field design and also in engineering. So the students, undergraduates need to go through 6 months internship program. All right. 6 months internship program, whereby these students will be evaluated, whereby 70% of the marks will be given by the industry supervisor. So let's say they work in one company, the company called company A. So they will assign one supervisor from that company to supervise the student. So 70%, 60 to 70% marks will be given by the industry supervisor, and the 20% will be on the report, and only merely about 10% is from the supervisor from the academic. All right. So I think we have a quite different mechanism. Still we have been using the lecturer will give marks, okay, the academic lecturer will give mark, but the most proportion will comes from the industry supervisor. So that the person who work in the company, all right, who will take care of the student and guide the student as well. So I think I answered the question for the first question here. I answered the first question. And the second question, the materials to be provided so that the student can learn better and so on. So we are actually in education 4.0. All right. So when we say IR 4.0, we also in education 4.0, whereby we have to know that our students are now from the generation Z or the millennium generation. So our students do not like to see what we used to like. Okay, last time when our lecturers asked us to find information, we will go to library to get the information. But now the information is at the fingertips through your smartphone. All right. So this is where we have to go for the adaptive kind of learning. Okay. So we have three keywords that you can use when you are always want to find a good way to teach our student. First is adaptive learning. Second, active learning. Third is personalized learning. So these are the three types of learning that could be adapted in this particular era of IR 4.0.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you very much, professors. And Professor Mohsin, please.
Yeah. Now, as far as India is concerned, and especially as Professor Bala has pointed out, here also in India, we have the internship pattern is different. For medical education, the internship is for 1 year. For engineering, the internship is for maybe differs from 3 months to 6 months. And for management and economics education, the internship is different. So I will speak upon the internship in management education. Now in management education in India, the internship is of 2 months. So after semester 2, that means the first year is complete. That is first 2 semester, we follow a semester system. So after the second semester examination, which are usually over in the month of May. So in the month of June and July, for 2 months, the student has to do an internship in any organization. Now, this 2 months, he will work on any project which is given by the industry. Whatever task is given by the industry, he will perform that task for 2 months. And after the end of 2 months, he will have to submit a project report. Now, during these 2 months, there will be 2 supervisors, or we call them guides. One will be the supervisor who will guide him when he is in the industry. That is the first supervisor. The second supervisor is his project guide, who will be his professor. So what we do is, we usually allocate guides based upon the specialization. So there are few students who are specializing in marketing, few in finance, HR, operations. So depending upon that, each professor is allocated 10 to 15 students. He will be guiding them in that particular area, maybe marketing, finance, HR. So 2 guides, one from the industry, one from the academics. And we also have a system of taking the feedback from the students. So the student has to submit a progress report.
Okay.
That report will be after every week or after every fortnight, after every 15 days. He has to prepare a report, progress report, what he has done during that period, what are the difficulties he is facing, what help he requires, and then he have to take the signature of the company guide, and then the progress report has to be submitted to the faculty, the academic guide, the professor. So the guide will then tell what to do, how to do, and at the end of this, he has to prepare a report, and that report is to be submitted. Now, this report is for 100 marks. Now, these 100 marks are divided into 2 parts. One part is that 50 marks are decided by the institute. The 50 marks assessment will be done by the institute depending upon the quality of the work he has done, the project that he has submitted. So his guide will conduct an internal presentation, and the committee of 3 people will assess his presentation and will give marks out of 50. The other 50 mark is external evaluation. We will be having expert coming from the university. The external expert will come from the university, and they will conduct a viva, wherein the student has to make a presentation and he has to appear for an oral viva. The external expert will conduct his Viva, and that 50 marks will be allocated by the external university assessors. Now, the parameters are also set, that what are the parameters on which you will be giving this mark, the assessment parameters, the selection of the topic, the relevance of the topic, the work that is carried on, the skills that the student has acquired during that particular project, and the utility of the project to the host organization, the utility of the project to the company where he has done. So these are certain parameters. Based upon this, he will be evaluated. 50 marks by the internal guide and 50 marks from the external expert who comes for conducting this Viva. So this is how that is being done.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you very much, Professor. Well, it seems that we still have two questions, and that will be two last questions. First is from Adin to both of you. Leadership is also an emerging skills which argued that all employee or employer should have, because most of the job are being occurred in group. In your opinion, in which direction the leadership skill is leading to humanity? So I hope the question is clear for you.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. So I think Prof. Moshin can start answer the question.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, Professor.
This time Indian time. This time for Indian. Okay, please, Professor Mohsin.
Yes. Now, if you see the type of jobs that will be created in the new industrial era, this will require many things. This will require communication. This will require teamwork. This will require collaboration. So collaboration, teamwork, and communication will be required for any type of job in the future. And therefore, more than leadership, we will require more of teamwork, the ability to work in a team. How well you are in working with your colleagues, whether how well you get along with the people in your team. So I think that that particular skill is more important, the ability to work in team, collaborate in team, work in team, communicate in team. That will be more important. And the second important aspect is that we talk about humanity. Now, humanity is a universal characteristics, quality. Now, whether we are a manager, whether we are a leader, whether we are a follower, whether we are a team member, whether I am a employee or an employer, I have to have that basic humanity, the basic ethical and moral principles I have to follow. So that makes me a good human being. If I am a good leader, if I am a good manager, if I am a good worker, but if I am not good human being, that is of no use. So at all levels, whether I am a manager, I am a leader, or I am a worker, I have to be a good human being. So that is most essential. So we require skills to work in team. We also require people who will be managing this team. So the leaders who will be managing the team. So leadership, teamwork, and humanity, all these are required.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. And Professor Bala?
Yes, I think I will add up a few because I think most of the important skills has been mentioned by Prof. Moshin just now. Maybe the things that I would like to add up in the things when it comes to leadership is that a good leader need to have emotion and social intelligence, or what we call nowadays the EQ, not only the IQ. The emotional intelligence is also important. How a leader is going to solve a problem when it comes to his subordinates, all right, and so on and so forth. And again, one of the important aspect a leader should have is also ethics, all right, ethics at the workplace, ethics as an individual. So this is where the concept of the theory of ethics also all comes in. Okay, the deontology, the utilitarianism theory, all right. So these are the things that we need to think about. So when it comes to leadership. So I think this is the only two things that I would like to add up on top of what Prof. Moshin has mentioned. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, emotional intelligence and ethics. Yeah, thank you, Professor. And the last question is from Miss Mega to both of you. How important is it for universities to include industrial sector in their study process? In which extent, industry should be included? Yeah, this time is for Malaysia or India?
I think Professor Bala should start.
Okay.
We should give chance to Professor Bala.
Indian Malaysia, yeah? Indian Malaysia starts.
I'm very honored, Prof. Moshin, for giving us to start first.
Okay.
First of all, let me actually explain about the things that is happen in Malaysia. We do have, as I already mentioned in my presentation just now also, even you can look at my slides, is that we have one concept of tertiary education where we call 2 years in university, 2 years in industry, or 3 years in university, 1 year in industry. All right, so we call it 2U, 2I, or 3U, 1I. All right, the U stands for university, I stands for industry. So, so that is the background of what we are having in Malaysia. Yet, there are only a few of universities are able to do that because, as we know, one of the big challenges is what Ms. Mega actually has mentioned here, is that to what extent the industry should be included. So we cannot just take whatever industry that could actually can give training to our student. It is not like that. The training that they went through, okay, or they are going through, must achieve the learning outcome of a certain aspect that a student should achieve in that particular program. For an example, let's say management or banking, for an example. We cannot just simply ask them to join a bank for 2 years and get the experience. We don't know what they are actually going to work in that bank, because most of the time they are just going to mix coffee and tea for the manager. All right, sometimes it can happen like that. All right, it happened in Malaysia also, because some students are just doing clerical work. All right, not the real industry work. So we cannot just put whatever industry that is actually comes under the word bank. So we have to be very careful here. Okay, first of all, make sure the position that the student have in the industry should be equivalent to the subject that they will be learning in the university. The outcome must be achieved. The learning outcome must be equivalent to what the working outcome. So that is the real fundamental thing for this university and the industry. And at the same time, in the Malaysian context, in each program, we also have what we call industry expert. For every year, okay, or every cycle of accreditation process, the industry expert should come with an opinion about the curriculum that we have for each program. So we do have also industry expert to give their view. Okay? For an example, they may say that, oh, for this particular subject, it's not relevant anymore.
Yeah, obsolete.
Obsolete already. So they will ask us to change. Or maybe they will say, okay, you can have this subject, but change the topic, change the content. Okay. So we also have this kind of industry expert. So we have the mechanism of industry plus university in 2 ways. One, the student will go to the industry, or the industry at the same time, there is also industry experts will advance on the curriculum.
Yeah.
So I hope that I answered the question. I pass to Prof. Moshin now.
Yeah. Okay, Prof. Mohsin.
Thank you, Professor Bala. Indeed, I appreciate the Malaysian system of the 2U, 1I type of combination. Now, as far as the industry connect is concerned, now for any industry or for any university, the students are our product and the industry is our customer. At the same time, students are also our customers and the industry is also our customer. Now there has to be a integration of the requirement of the industry with the university. So in India, what we have is that right from the framing of the curriculum is concerned, when we are forming the curriculum, when we are designing the curriculum, we have a expert in that particular faculty. For example, faculty of management, and we are framing the syllabus of the MBA program. So while framing the syllabus of the MBA program, we decide different subjects. Maybe we are framing the subject of accounting. So what we will do, we will include one expert from the industry in framing of that particular curriculum. So we will ask him that, okay, in this accounting course, what do you think? What should be the content from the industry perspective? So the voice of the industry is taken care in designing the curriculum. That is the first point. Now the second point is while delivering the curriculum. Now during the delivery phase, what we do is we also involve the industry in the delivery phase. We say that we will invite people from the industry to interact with the students as to that what is happening in the industry, what challenges you are facing. You come and interact with the students. So when people from the industry come and interact with the students in form of guest lectures, so our student comes to know what is happening in the industry, what is the expectation of the industry. That is at the second level. Now we also take the students to the industry in form of industrial visits, in form of industrial projects, in terms of field work, mini projects. So the students also comes to know what is happening at the ground level in the university. And finally, we have that internship program. So right from the framing of the curriculum to the delivery of the curriculum to going in the field and working in the industry. So this is how we should incorporate industry experts or the opinion of the industries in framing our curriculum, so that when our students pass out, they are ready with the skill sets that are required by the industry. They are familiar with the environment in which they will be working when they join the industry. So we make them industry ready and we send them to the market or the job market. So I think that it is very essential that both the universities as well as the industry should collaborate with each other and provide inputs to each other, so that both the industry also benefit and the university also benefit. The industry gets the type of manpower they require, and the university is also able to come up with the curriculum programs which are demanded by the industry. So it should be a win-win situation for both the industry as well as the university. So this is how we should work closely with the industry.
Okay, thank you very much, Professor Mohsin and Professor Bala. It seems that the question from Ibu Zahratu Solihah marked the end of our session today. So I'd like to thank you so much for spending time with us. Thank you very much for the knowledge and experience that you have shared with us. We are sure that those are very useful for us in designing the new curriculum, or the freedom curriculum. And we hope that we could create one that suit the needs of our students and they could function well in the future. Thank you very much, Professor. Yeah.
Thanks for the opportunity and welcome.
Yeah, you're welcome. Yeah. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Professor Sitavaju. And we hope that we will keep on interacting further. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. We are looking forward to seeing you here in Yogyakarta State University, maybe after the pandemic is over.
Sure.
Thank you so much for all the professor, and thank you so much, Professor Setia, and all participants who are here in the room, and also online. Thank you so much for being so enthusiastic. And we do hope that this session is useful for us in the process for the process of curriculum design. Uh, saya pribadi mohon maaf jika ada kesilapan dan kesalahan selama mengantarkan forum. Selanjutnya saya kembalikan forum kepada Master of Ceremony. Silakan.
Thank you so much, ladies and gentlemen. Before we finally close this event, I would like to express my gratitude to all of the speakers, the amazing amount of participants, and also our lovely moderator for a wonderful session we had. I would also like to apologize if I made some mistake during hosting this event today. Hope to see you again in another occasion. But before that, I would like to invite all of the participants to open their camera so that we could have a photo session. Please, to all the participants online. Oke.
Bapak Ibu yang di online videonya bisa di on kan, kita akan ambil gambar foto session. Divisi gini. Akhirnya kelihatan semua ini akhirnya ini.
Okay, I will count down from now. 1, 2, 3.
Belum.
Lagi. Cuma satu halaman.
Okay, one more time. 1, 2, 3. Okay, thank you so much for all of your participating today. I hope to see you again another occasion. Thank you and have a great day.